Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Fabrizio Romano here as always to keep you posted on the transfer market. Today, several things to mention as always. We are going to talk a lot about players today rather than managers. How are you, Fra?
Ciao Fabri, we are here speaking of many things, so let's get rolling with that.
Ready with that, and so let's jump into it together. Here we go guys, ready for a new video. Crucial weeks are coming, the leagues are coming to an end, and so we are going to discuss several topics, several players, answering some of your questions as well. So there is going to be a lot of movement in the next days, and so let's start with that.
Let's start again with midfielders, I would say, because we need to speak about the situation of Tchouameni, the rumors with Manchester United. What's the situation?
Yeah, probably in terms of midfielders, we discussed, I was already here on the channel yesterday discussing midfielders for Man United, and we know that Ederson is waiting for Man United. There is an agreement already in place between Ederson and Man United in terms of personal details. So Ederson will be more than happy to join Man United. Ederson is giving priority to Man United. United had face-to-face conversations with Atalanta, with a mission in Italy in the recent days to line up the deal, to prepare the deal, and then it's obviously going to be on Man United to decide whether they want to proceed, give the green light or not. Man United are talking to several midfielders, so there is always the appreciation for Sandro Tonali, the appreciation for Ederson when Manchester City are also there. Mateusz Fernandes is going to be another big name to follow for top clubs in England this summer. So there is going to be a lot of movements for midfielders. But Aurélien Tchouaméni, if you ask me, who is going to be probably internally considered as a dream target for Man United, Aurélien Tchouaméni is for sure a player they love. He's a player they believe could be another Casemiro for Manchester United. Then, as I always mentioned, for Real Madrid, he's a very important player. So at the moment, the doors of Real Madrid are still closed for Aurélien Tchouaméni. He's on a big salary, so it's a really difficult deal, really complicated. But internally, a few months ago, the conversation was about the manager. Who is the dream target as a manager? Probably was going to be Luis Enrique, but impossible. He's going to sign a new contract at Paris Saint-Germain, and Man United are very happy with Carrick. If you ask me in terms of midfielders, Tchouameni and Ederson are super appreciated. Obviously, both are impossible, probably. But at the same time, these are two names that Manchester United really appreciate. Then, we know, transfer window, you always have to be smart, try to understand the best opportunities. So let's see what's going to happen with all of them, including also Baleba, is another name we have to include because the player is keen on the move. And then Man United will decide who are the midfielders they really want.
Moving to strikers, Bayern Munich closed the doors to Barcelona for Harry Kane. No, there were a strong statement about that.
Yeah, today Julian spoke about that. There was no doubt. Today Julian was also quite aggressive talking about Barcelona. Yes. That's his style, we know that.
Exactly.
Yesterday was about Michael Olise saying Mourinho can keep 5 eyes on him and he's still not gonna get him. And today on Harry Kane saying Barcelona have no money for him and we are not a selling club. So a very strong statement. The reality, apart from statements, is that Bayern never considered the exit of Harry Kane this summer. The release clause of Harry Kane at Bayern is a release clause that has to be activated in January. So had to be activated in January 2026. Now it's too late to discuss about release clauses. So Bayern are very relaxed. Bayern want to discuss a new contract with Harry Kane as soon as possible. So they are absolutely delighted with Kane. He's doing fantastic. 66 goals this season so far in all competitions with Bayern in England. So I can guarantee that
with the World Cup.
Doors, yeah, with the World Cup incoming, and the doors are more than closed. Also because Barcelona are focusing on completely different things.
Speaking of strikers, do you still believe Julián Álvarez can leave Atlético Madrid this summer?
I think there is still a possibility. There is still a possibility. I always say the same sentence since November, December on Julián Álvarez's future. Keep all doors open. And all doors means Barcelona because they love the player, for sure, but also Paris Saint-Germain and Premier League clubs are very interested in Julián Álvarez. So they're going to be very aggressive this summer, and I think it's not going to be easy, obviously, for Atletico to keep the player. They have new ownership, so they can be ambitious, but when you get those kinds of proposals, you know, it becomes complicated. Also, let me say one thing. My understanding is that a new contract for Julián Álvarez at Atlético Madrid, despite all the stories around, my understanding is that is very unlikely and was never really concrete, at least in 2026. Then, in the past, I don't know, but in terms of present, is not even a concrete topic of conversation. So at the moment, it's more on Julian to decide, announce what he wants to do, and then eventually negotiate.
Again, on strikers, as always, we can expect some of the big ones moving in the summer. Is there one specifically that you expect to move in the summer?
I would keep an eye on Gonçalo Ramos, because Gonçalo Ramos could be on the move. Gonçalo Ramos could leave Paris Saint-Germain this summer. My understanding is that some movement already started around Gonçalo Ramos. Now, obviously, the full focus is on the Champions League final. Gonçalo Ramos is a fantastic professional, so never created any sort of problem or any sort of issue. He's been on the bench several times at Paris Saint-Germain in the big games in the recent seasons, but always behaving in a fantastic way, fantastic in training, fantastic when he had the chance to enter, crucial in the Super Cup, UEFA Super Cup last summer. So Gonçalo Ramos is very appreciated at PSG, but my understanding is that now the player wants to play. He wants to be an important part of the project at his next club. So there could be movement on Gonçalo Ramos. For Premier League clubs, for Serie A clubs, for Spanish clubs as well. Let's see what happens at Atlético Madrid, for example. But for sure, Gonçalo Ramos could be one to watch, because there is movement around him, and the understanding is that Paris Saint-Germain could maybe add one more offensive player. I mentioned Yan Diomande in the recent days. Let's see what happens with Julián Álvarez. So one player could be a possibility to be added up front for Paris Saint-Germain, and in that case, Gonçalo Ramos could be the player also to leave in terms of number 9.
It was a tough week for João Pedro after the national team announcement of Carlo Ancelotti. But what about the summer, and what can we expect from him in the summer about talks and possible rumors?
Yeah, what we have to expect is that Barcelona behind the scenes has been trying to get in touch with his agents to try and understand what could be the magic number to make things happen around João Pedro. So try to tempt Chelsea, tempt the player. But the reality is that as of today, again, it's end of May, very early. It's a long window. It's a long summer. João Pedro is not going to be at the World Cup, so the negotiations can be even different. But in terms of Chelsea desire, as of today, it's a very high wall around João Pedro. It's been a tough season for Chelsea, a very complicated season, 3 different managers. And so to let João Pedro go at this stage of the project with a new coach, ambitious, like Xabi Alonso and coming, seems something really complicated. So at the moment, Chelsea have absolutely no intention to discuss. And it's not about 90 million, 100 million, 120. It's not about numbers. Chelsea want to restart their project with a top coach like Xabi Alonso and with top players like, obviously, João Pedro, Cole Palmers, and all the others. So this is going to be the focus. Then, in the transfer window, guys, we are here to keep you updated.
Yes.
If Barcelona will decide to make something crazy happen, we will eventually let you know. But that's the situation for João Pedro. I think we said everything for today on strikers.
I don't know if you have
and
other topics to cover. Otherwise, we can...
For now, we are good. And there is going to be plenty more in the next days. So thank you, Fra. And thank you guys
as
for
always
following us here on the channel. We will see you soon here on YouTube. Remember to like this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, and see you soon here every single day. Thank you. Ciao.